Right, athletes, this is a test week, and these are all going to be the same because it's a check in point for you. It gives you an opportunity to see where your fitness is at right now. I'll tell you this early in the season, most athletes hate the results they see, and late in the season, they usually still don't like the results that they see. Don't get strung up or hung up too much on the actual test results. Yeah, they're important to help set zones, but it's just one day, one sample to everything else that's going on. So whether you have extreme breakthrough, which I know that you all will have, or if you felt a little flat, it's just one point of reference. And so if you have nothing to start with, absolutely you're going to use these results. If you have a bad test or one that feels funky, then you can make a decision to maybe adjust it in the middle or throw it out if you feel like it really wasn't a good representation of where you're currently at right now. I'll also say this, early in the season, people are afraid to test because they feel like they're not fit enough to test. But that's another reason why you would want to test, because your zones are going to be different even if you aren't as fit. So if you're early in the season and you're feeling like this is something that you shouldn't do yet or you're afraid to see the results, don't worry about it. It's just giving you a representation of where you are right now. If you're late in the season, as we turn to sport specificity, so for longer course racing, we aren't working as much on the high end anymore. So your high end hard test results might suffer a little bit too because you're just not used to it. But that's okay because you're preparing for something that you're not going to be going 30-minute efforts for. So just realize that, all right? And so here's the deal. We have a 30-minute run test and we have a 30-minute bike test. And those two tests are going to be set up to help you establish your zones. I like to use 30 minutes because by yourself, 30 minutes predicts what you can do for an hour in a race, which is a true representation of your FTP. A lot of times, especially on the bike, athletes will use some variation of 20-minute tests and then subtract 5%. In my personal opinion, I feel like athletes can train for that test too much and you get a little bit of a false data reading. So I really like to use the 30 minutes. I know it's mentally tough. Suck it up, buttercup, as I tell my athletes. Figure out a way to get through it. Create a 30-minute playlist. Or if you have a course that's about 30 minutes long, whether it's running or biking, I'm fine with that as long as it's in a few minutes and as long as it's fair and it's uninterrupted. So you wouldn't want it to be straight uphill one way and then halfway back the other way downhill. So once you get your zones, you want to take your average pace or your average power and put that in for your pace or power in your settings under your threshold and zones. And then you want to take the average of the last 20 minutes for your heart rates. That's your threshold heart rate. And you put that in for your heart rate. And then that'll help establish all the zones. And then going forward, you'll have great zones. You'll notice on Tuesday, I gave you a 25-minute run. It's super easy. I just want to pick the legs up a little bit so that when you run hard on Wednesday, it's not feeling like they haven't ran for a few days and they feel all tight and groggy. So enjoy your week. Enjoy the rest week. Take some downtime if you need it. And I will see you all next week.